Everyone, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Asim, and I lead product marketing here at Ensora Health. Today, we are excited to introduce you to AI Session Assistant, starting with our first AI-powered documentation capabilities designed specifically for behavioral and mental health clinicians. This is a short, focused session where we're going to walk through why documentation has been such a heavy burden for all of you, for all the clinicians out there, and how we approach AI differently. And then we're going to jump in and show you how AI Session Assistant directly works inside TheraNest for telehealth documentation. We hear this consistently from therapists that documentation isn't just a task, it's one of the biggest contributors to burnout. In our recent Future of Therapy report, over 80% of therapists told us burnout is a real issue and documentation is a major driver. Not because notes aren't important, but because they take away from everything else, including rest, family, and just having a clean end of the day. At the same time, a lot of AI tools in the market try to solve this by moving too fast, but they fall short clinically. They sound generic, they miss nuances, or raise questions around privacy and trust. This tension is what led us to build AI Session Assistant differently. And at this point, I want to bring in Drew. Drew has been very closely involved from building our AI feature from ground up. And I think it's helpful to hear a bit about how we actually approached this problem and what we prioritized as we built it out. So Drew, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks. So we know that the previous slide isn't a surprise to any of you. The job is challenging even without the documentation burden. So when we were trying to think of how to implement AI features in a way that you can feel comfortable with, we made sure to focus on a few things. First, we've been getting a lot of feedback from therapists on how the feature should work in the system, both in advance of putting it together and throughout the development and beta process. We made sure that the clinical output is something you can feel comfortable with. It's using the clinical content from your session, the things you're actually doing with your clients to put together a clinically appropriate note. You, of course, always have the chance to review and edit, but you'll see it produces good notes. And no PHI is used to train the models. We don't keep the audio files. We automatically delete the transcripts once we have the note. So we go beyond what's needed for compliance. It really is a feature that you and your clients can trust. So we have two features in this initial AI package that we've built to support you. So first, telehealth notes. When you have a telehealth session, this captures session content and uses it to write a note. It preserves the clinical content of the session with accuracy and detail, and it dramatically reduces your documentation time. And then also AI case summaries. So for an individual case, this is a feature that uses all signed clinical content to give you a summary both of the case and the last session. This only happens when you actually request the case summary, and it can help you prep for the next session, get an overview to help you kind of think about your big picture work with this client, or help you coordinate care.
Thank you, Drew. That was a great walkthrough of what AI Session Assistant actually does and how those two features work together. I want to pause here for a minute and ground this in what we've actually seen from real clinicians who's been using this over the past several months. Before we brought AI Session Assistant to market, we spent months testing it with beta users. These weren't just demos or hypotheticals. This was real documentation, real session, real end of day workflows. And a few things stood out very clearly. First, the time savings. Therapists consistently told us that they were cutting documentation dramatically, in some cases up to 90% faster, and saving 5 to 10 hours a week. But what really mattered to us and why they trusted it, we heard over and over that the notes felt strong and accurate. They reflected what actually happened in session, not some generic output or overly templated output. One beta user told us it relieved a lot of stress because they could stay present with their clients instead of mentally tracking everything they need to type later. Another said the AI Session Assistant were a game changer for reducing administrative burdens without compromising clinical quality. That feedback is what gave us confidence to move forward. Speed matters, but trust matters even more. And this slide, the quotes, the experience with our beta users really represents that balance that we've been aiming for. With that context, the best way to see this in action is to see it in action. And what we'll do next is we're going to have Sarah walk through a short demo of how AI Session Assistant actually works within TheraNest. I'll hand it over to Sarah now, who's going to walk you through it.
AI telehealth notes allows you to generate a progress note from a recorded telehealth session. Before we see how that works, here's a few things to get you started. First, once your organization subscribes to AI Session Assistant, you'll see two new templates. Coming over here to Dynamic Forms, this AI telehealth session summary is a new progress note template. This progress note template includes our new form element called Session Summary AI Enabled. Any progress note created from a recorded session must use either this template or any custom template that contains this new form element so that the AI-generated summary can populate in your progress note. The other form we also provide is a new intake form. This intake form here for recording, transcribing, and documenting healthcare sessions is something you can send to your clients if you want signed consent on file for recording sessions and using AI. When AI Session Assistant is assigned to you as a provider, a couple of things are going to happen. You'll receive an email welcoming you to AI Session Assistant. It will outline the need to consent to AI before you start recording your sessions. You'll also see some demos of each feature, both AI telehealth notes and AI case summaries. Feel free to come back to these at any time. At the bottom will be some linked knowledge base articles to help you get started. And then, of course, our support email address is here. Well, feel free to reach out to our team at any time. A banner will also appear prompting you to consent to AI. Clicking Consent Now brings you to a new Privacy and Security tab in your profile. This toggle must be turned on to record a telehealth session. You'll also notice a new alert preference that lets you opt into notifications when your AI summary is ready. We do recommend you turning this on so that we know when your progress note is ready to be created. Now that we've covered setup, let's record a session and generate a summary. Since the AI consent is turned on in my profile, I see a new record button when I start a telehealth session. When I click to start recording, the client will be prompted to consent to the recording as well. If the client declines to record, you'll see a banner stating that the consent was not granted by the client. If the client does agree to record, a banner will appear for both you and the client, letting you know that consent was granted and the recording will begin. During the session, you can pause and restart the recording at any time. When you're ready to end the session, make sure you select End Session so the processing can begin. This is what triggers the summary generation. It may take up to 30 minutes for the AI summary to be ready. When it's finished, we'll notify you in a few ways. A message will appear in the upper right corner of your account with a link to the appointment. If you've turned on the alerts, you'll also receive an alert letting you know the AI summary is ready. And then on the agenda, you'll also see a new badge, again, letting you know that your AI summary is ready. Once the summary is ready, create a progress note so it links to the appointment, and choose a template that supports AI summaries, either the Ensora AI template that we provide or a custom template that includes the AI session summary form element. The summary will populate in your progress note, and you can review and edit it before finalizing it. Now that we've walked through AI telehealth notes, let's move into AI case summaries. AI case summaries help you quickly review a client's history and most recent progress without searching through multiple documents. This feature consolidates the initial assessment, treatment plans, and signed progress notes, along with a focused summary of the last session to streamline preparation, supervision, handoffs, and overall clinical review. When I navigate to a client's case, on the Case Info tab, I'll see a new Generate Case Summary button. Right now it's disabled because there's no signed documentation for this case. To generate a summary, you'll need at least one signed document, either the initial assessment, a treatment plan, or a progress note. Once I sign a document, the Generate Case Summary button now becomes active, and clicking it starts the summary generation process. This may take a bit of time, so you can work elsewhere and return later. Once the summary is generated, you'll see 4 sections. The last progress note will summarize the most recent signed progress note if one exists for this case. The goals are going to pull tentative goals from the initial assessment until a treatment plan is signed. After that, it will pull goals from the treatment plan. Diagnosis will display diagnosis codes from the initial assessment or the most recent signed addendum to the assessment. And the case summary will synthesize all signed documents in the case into a clear, cohesive narrative. As new documents are signed, the case summary will update automatically. You can see when the case summary was last updated with the timestamp at the top. So we hope these updates reduce some of the administrative load and make day-to-day tasks more manageable.
Thanks so much, Sarah. That was a great walkthrough. What you just saw is what's available today with AI Session Assistant, and it's really just the beginning of where we're headed. Right now, AI Session Assistant supports telehealth sessions with AI telehealth notes and AI case summaries, helping you move through documentation faster while staying true to how you document. Coming next, we're actively working on an AI in-office scribe for face-to-face sessions. Our goal is to bring the same experience you just saw, the same speed, structure, clinical alignment to an in-person session. We're targeting a summer launch, and when it's available, it will not come at an additional cost. Beyond that, we're continuing to invest in text-to-note capabilities and other AI-powered tools, all focused on one thing, reducing administrative burden so you can spend more time on care and less time on documentation. Everything on this roadmap is shaped by the therapist's feedback and built with a therapist-first mindset. We're committed to evolving this alongside with you. So with that, let's talk about how you can get started or take the next step today. If you're new to TheraNest, now is a great time to try it out. You can sign up for a 21-day free trial experience and try AI Session Assistant firsthand, including AI telehealth notes directly in your workflow. It's the easiest way to see how much time you can reclaim each week while staying in control of your documentation. If you're already on a free trial, AI Session Assistant is available for you to try right now. Jump in, run a session, and see how it fits the way you work. And lastly, if you're a current TheraNest customer, AI Session Assistant is available in your add-on section today. We're offering an early bird promotion, 50% off for the first 6 months. It's time limited, so jump on it while you can, and this is a great time to enable it. Thank you again for spending time with us today. We're excited about what's ahead, and we really appreciate you being part of this journey with us.